Welcome to the Big Success Show. Today, are you a goal getter or a goal for getter? Brought to you by FinancialFreedomTool.com. Plenty of money for life.
Big Success with the Professor and Mary-Lynn.
Here we are in a new year, 2021. Yes.
Yeah. Can you believe it's 2021?
2020 hindsight, thank goodness.
Yeah. That's
Right?
true. And of course, with the new year comes New Year resolutions, new goals for the new year.
Yes, and the best New Year's resolution of all is just simply, I'm not going to make any New Year's resolutions. Because then you just cover it, it's over with, you've succeeded, as long as you don't make a resolution. But you got to be careful, because I did this once, Mary-Lynn, and I actually ended up saying, that's going to be my resolution. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I had that other resolution to not make resolutions. Hey, I'm George Kruger, a.k.a. the Professor.
And I'm Mary-Lynn. Well, brand new year, yes, people do make resolutions. And there was a study done on New Year's resolutions at the University of Scranton by J.C. Norcross and D.J. Vagarelli. 200 participants made a New Year's resolution, and researchers tracked these individuals for 2 years. And Professor, what were the findings?
Well, 23% gave up within, what do you think?
2 days.
A week.
Well,
so
okay.
You're close,
Close.
Mary-Lynn. Yes, 36% didn't last a full week. 50% threw in the towel by the 3-month mark. 54% didn't make it 6 months. And a whopping 81% quit before 2 years was up. So before the long term. So 1 out of 5, less than 1 out of 5, we should actually say to be precise, less than 1 out of 5 people kept their resolutions long term.
So, how can you be part of this group of high achievers that do keep that goal, that do hang on to that resolution?
You have to understand the 2 types of people in the world. There are goal getters, and then there are goal forgetters.
And the 2 of us know, because we've been both.
Yes, unfortunately, I have to admit that, Mary-Lynn.
So let's talk about 3 differences today between these goal getters and goal forgetters. The first difference, goal getters focus on solutions. Goal forgetters get bogged down by problems.
Adversity and failure are absolute positive guarantees. It's going to happen whenever you put yourself out there and set big goals. The key is to recognize that fact, right? To recognize that you're going to face adversity, you're going to experience failure, and then be prepared for it so that a setback helps you grow forward.
Right. So step 1 in being prepared is to clearly define when a problem arises. Clearly define what that problem is.
Yeah, ask yourself questions like, what's the root cause? What's really underneath it all? What's really creating this? And what does this problem affect? What's being put out of whack? Or what makes you notice this problem?
And then step 2, clearly define the solution. You got to do some critical thinking, right?
Yes.
To look at the problem holistically.
Exactly right. And Mary-Lynn, one thing I've learned in our time together is you're always critical of my thinking. But the thing is, what must the solution accomplish? What do we need to do here with this solution? And how are you going to implement it? How are you going to get it going?
And then step 3 is to try to look at the situation in a more positive perspective.
Right. You might think more of problems as challenges. Or I remember an old movie that I watched, and one of the main characters said, I will succeed or I will not succeed. And it just always cracked me up, because this person who's in the movie was a very prosperous person, but he could not admit defeat. It was not losing, it was not succeeding.
Okay.
Which meant he had a chance to still come back and succeed.
And step 4 in preparation for adversity, measure the progress of your solution.
Yeah, if it doesn't seem to be working, try again, right? But when you try again and you feel like you're just hitting your head against the wall, it's time to start over with step 1 and try something else.
Yes.
And then try that again if it doesn't work. And then maybe try something else again. Eventually, you're going to find something that'll work.
Take inspiration from Thomas Edison.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't let failure stop him from becoming one of the most successful innovators in American history.
10,000, Mary-Lynn. He said he tried 10,000 times to create the light bulb before he actually found how to do it. But he didn't look at it as 10,000 failures. He looked at it as 10,000 learning experiences so he can figure out how to actually make it work.
And actually, there are some other epic failures, and we link to an article in the show notes of this episode if you want to delve more into Thomas Edison. Take inspiration from that.
Yes.
Coming up, the attitude that separates big goal getters from big goal forgetters, right after this word from our sponsor, financialfreedomtool.com. Plenty of money for life.
Do you stress over money? Who doesn't? Let the Financial Freedom Tool ease your mind by pinpointing opportunities to improve your financial picture. Take control so you feel empowered to move ahead with confidence. Learn more at financialfreedomtool.com.
Today we're talking about the two types of people in the world when it comes to resolutions. There's goal getters and goal forgetters. And we're sharing 3 differences between the two. The second difference is goal getters can, while goal forgetters can't. Attitude is everything when it comes to accomplishing big goals, wouldn't you say, Professor?
Absolutely.
You can win with a can-do attitude, but who's ever heard of somebody winning with a can't-do attitude?
I can't think of anybody. Hey, look at that, would you? When you say that you can't do something, you know what happens? You start believing that you can't do something. The quote I heard, I don't remember who said this, but whether you can or can't, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, and that is so true.
And you're allowing self-doubt to take over. And you know, allowing that to sabotage your goal.
And I think, Mary-Lynn, what you tend to see is this is where that downward spiral can come in. When you focus just on the can'ts, I can't do this, which means I can't do this other thing. And that means I can't do this other thing. And next thing you know, the world is on fire.
You're one of these folks who give up completely and throw in the towel.
Yeah, and as you said, self-doubt is absolutely sabotaging your goal. So to overcome it, start by writing down why you want to achieve a particular goal. So in other words, we've got the goal, that's the what. What's the why? This is important because it helps you keep pushing towards your goal even on those difficult days.
Right. And next, you want to break your big goals down into small goals and keep track of your achievements. Use a notebook or an app, but this really helps you build your confidence. So whenever the word can't starts coming into your head, you can point to, no, I can and I am. Look at what I'm doing.
Yeah, and so kind of along those lines, Mary-Lynn, just finally remove the word can't from your vocabulary. Just get rid of it and really pay attention to what you're saying so that you hear yourself saying it. I mean, if you have to, record yourself. Just record yourself talking. Record your inner thoughts, because that's where this stuff often starts. But instead of saying what you can't do, state what you will do. You know, so we're going beyond even the can. Yeah. This is what I will do. Today, I will take action towards my goal.
This is just a big difference in how you say those two words. Can't sound so wimpy. And say what I will do. You know, that has some punch right there.
Well, and I also like the fact that, you know, can is projection, whereas will implies more reality. And so there's a difference even between the can and the will that we should understand.
Right.
It starts with a can and it ends with a will. Things get done when we think will.
All right, now we're on to our third difference between goal getters and goal forgetters. Goal getters do whatever it takes. Goal forgetters do what's easy. Doing what's easy is usually giving up, right? People who achieve their big goals have a quitting is not an option attitude.
They are not quit critters. quit critters. Well, and it doesn't mean that they followed a straight path to success. You know, that whole idea that it's this way or that way, that's not the way it works.
Well, I think sometimes there's this impression when you look at a successful person, you think, oh, they decided they wanted to do this, and then boom, they were there.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Yeah, I even remember seeing an image once, and it said, you know, like what people think success is, and it's like the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and then what success really is, and it's just a mess up and down.
Squiggly lines.
It looks like a lie detector test where somebody just told the lie, right? So you know, and that's kind of what it actually is, right? Somebody's telling us a lie if we believe that the path to success is a straight line. You're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to shift. And you may even have to back up and take a different road to get to the finish line.
Right, because you're going to do whatever it takes. And we talked about your why a little bit earlier. That it's so important because it helps you persevere and overcome self-doubt. When you think, well, I was going to go this straight path, but now here I am going down this and going over this hill and backwards. And what am I doing? And so, yeah, self-doubt may creep in, but that's where your why really does help.
But the thing you have to understand with all this is, Mary-Lynn, you're kind of talking about the squiggly lines and everything, and your how isn't set or shouldn't be set in stone.
Right. The why really is. But
Yes.
But you make a great point that the how doesn't have to be.
Yeah. So set your direction. You want to kind of end up in the same area.
Right.
But we're not going to probably pinpoint it, and then analyze every step of the way. What's working and what's not working.
And now we're kind of talking about a concept that we discussed in a different podcast, and we actually have a link to it in this podcast episode. United States Air Force Colonel John Boyd developed a concept for the military called OODA loops.
OODA.
Yeah.
Well, and OODA is an acronym for observe. This is easy to remember. Observe, orient, decide, act. Say it with me, Mary-Lynn. Observe, orient, decide, act. Yeah. So until you take action, your outcome is speculative. Mm-hmm. You can't, and I even talk, like, if we think about businesses and we're doing like a focus group, we're asking people, would you buy this? Well, I'll tell you what, that's still different than when you got, like, you're standing in front of them and you got the product.
Yeah, here it is. You
and
said
you're saying,
you would
here
buy
it is, yes.
Well, you pull out your wallet now.
And here's back to the word will. Will you buy it?
Right,
well,
right.
Guess what? Will and would are really different, right? Mm-hmm. Would is a projection.
Right.
Will is an action now. Mm. And so this whole idea of OODA loop says that, when you get into the game, when you start playing, when you take action, your outcome is speculative. But when you take action, until you take action, your outlook is speculative. When you take action, you start gaining valuable information that helps you navigate the journey that you're on, because goal-getters have a bias for action, and that leads to big success.
If one of your big goals is to get on track financially, our Financial Freedom Tool can help. Learn more at financialfreedomtool.com.
And we thank you so much for listening today.
Until next time, here's to your big success.
Find big success at biggsuccess.com.